All right, guys, welcome back after a very long time. I know I took a long break, and I still need time. Honestly, it's not over for me. I had to go through a few personal stuff, but this is not personal. This is something else, right? So I felt the urge to make a video for you guys because I'm seeing stuff on the like in the entire market, especially with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, for example. I am seeing some stuff, and I just thought, you know what, I need to talk about it. So if you go back to the previous videos, you may have noticed that I've mentioned a few bunch of numbers, and I said, look, on the downside, we could be looking at going to the 60k, 58k, possibly even the 53k. I did clearly mention those. Now, we didn't go to the 53k, which is a good thing for us, but we did go down as low as 56k, which is good, right? Ultimately, it doesn't matter if we didn't hit the 53k. That's a good thing. Now, looking at all the data on the chart, right, and I'm not going to show you charts, right, but just looking at all the data to the best of my ability, right, and my understanding, what I'm seeing is the market itself has stopped bleeding. Right, that's it. The bottom is in, literally, right, if we're going to say that. Now, how confident I am on saying this, I'll give you that 90% confidence, right? That 10%, there's a reason behind this. It might not show up as it's over until another week or two, right? So please do understand this. Like, when I'm looking at data, when I'm analyzing the market, and when I'm making calls, right, I'm not just doing it based on what I see, right? Yes, there are some aspects of what I see that I can translate into the what I'm going to say to you, but it's not the absolute, right? It's not all BS, right? And that's the part you need to understand. Sometimes I will say numbers or dates, or even days, weeks, months, whatever it be. I will give you information way in advance before these data existed, and a lot of the time what you'll find is they're not quite related with the previous history. So we always say, like, look, you want to see what the chart's going to do, look left, right? But in my case, a lot of the time, and majority of the time, there are most occasions where well, I would say over, like, close to 50% of the time I would look at the left, but a lot of the time I'm not looking at the left. I'm just looking at what the market's doing now, filtering out all the noise that's there, and then moving forward with that and saying, well, that's more likely, right? So that's what we've got so far. So for me, when I look at the market today at $2.27 trillion, that's already an indication that we've tested. Now we're going to try to move up. And I'm seeing BTC right now, I don't know what day it is, sorry guys, I know it's a Wednesday. The time is 2:35. Let me see if I can see it here. 15th of May, right? So it's Wednesday, 15th of May 2024. The time, as I said, is 2:36 now. The price of BTC is at 64,500. Now, for us to confirm a greater time frame, like weekly time frame, and to confirm this, the reversal has happened and the market trend is now trending up, on the larger time frame, we need a 65,500, which is gonna come in probably today, tomorrow, right? I did mention a few bits and bobs on Discord about today, about Wednesday, and believe me, I don't even know it's Wednesday today already. The time is just flying for me. It feels like it's yesterday. I don't know why, right? I thought it's Tuesday today, but it's Wednesday. But just looking at the data, looking at the patterns, right, I'm able to say what's going to happen. So I'm not trying to boast here or anything like this, but that's what's happened. Market has reversed. It's confirmed. We had the daily confirmation, we had the 3-day confirmation, we've even got a 5-day almost, so it's not confirmed yet, almost. For that 5-day confirmation candle, we need a Friday candle. So that Friday candle will give us the 5-day confirmation, and then on the weekly confirmation, we're going to have to close on Sunday at a positive, right? Anything above 61,500, we're cool, guys. A lot of people don't realize this. Sometimes the negative numbers can also be very good. So that's a restart for us. Now, when I say I'm about 90% confident, the reason is the couple of weeks we might have. So we might see a little bit of a volatility, major volatility, ups and downs, right? But as long as we're trending up and we do get higher lows, we should be fine. That's what you need to focus on, right? So for me right now is literally the time to buy in, right? So any cash I've got, anything I've got sitting on the side, I'll be deploying those right now. I think it's a great opportunity to deploy. and see where the market goes. Solana's, I mean, doing fantastic compared to BTC. BTC did 4.5%, right, 4.7% right now. Ethereum did 3.23%. Solana's on 7%, right? Say's done 7%. So when you look at these slightly smaller coins, right, they're giving you the bigger gains. So I'm not going to say anything. I'm not suggesting anything here. None of this is financial advice, but I'm just indicating that, look, when you see the lower numbers, when you see the Solana ecosystem, for example, that's booming right now. And you can see how Solana is doing compared to BTC. So that might be a thought that, okay, you know, you might want to go and dabble into Solana, or maybe say, right, it's cheap right now. We know we hit an all-time high of 10 something. Can we hit that again? Well, if we do, that's 100% from here. So that's the kind of a maths you got to do. Well, we're going to push for a new all-time high. That's the kind of math you got to do. We know Solana hasn't hit its all-time high yet, but it is struggling because of the entire market. So again, would it be a good opportunity to go back in again? So that's the kind of things you need to look at, right? You know, just look at your margins, look at your differences and percentages, right? Where we were, where we're heading towards, what's the probability, and how much you're going to make. I'm not going to tell you that, right? You might make 10% on a Solana, you might get 10% on a BTC. I'm not going to tell you that, right? You might make 200%, 300%, 500%. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you that, right? Because that data hasn't come along for me to kind of translate that to you and say, right, that's what we're going to hit. Right, I still stand by every single number I've ever given, right, including BTC. And you can go back 4 years, 5 years back, right, even to the point where I've said on a video, I said, look, by, you know, in 5 years time, BTC could be $100,000 or £72,000, whichever comes first, right? And I've mentioned that I'm sticking by it, because there are data. I saw something and I said, look, this is what my probability is, and based on the macro economical facts as well. So I was looking at the global pandemic situation and all the other stuff as well, and I was factoring all of those and doing a whole different maths compared to other people and forecasting what would be the probability. So that gave me a better position to sit down and say, right, okay, I know what's going to happen, or at least I feel confident enough that that's going to happen, and I need to factor that into my thing. Just by mooning into it and say, oh, that's it, we're going to go to the moon tomorrow. No, it doesn't happen, right? For example, AMC, right? So I used to hold a bit of AMC, and I used to hold a bit of GME, and I still hold a little bit, very little bit, guys. Nothing significant, coffee money, right? But the point is, when I saw the big pumps come in, when I saw, you know, 4,000%, 5,000%, I wasn't sticking around. I was like, get the hell out. Take my initial, take my profit, get the hell out, right? So I did that. But then it kept on pumping. It pumped all the way to 9,000%. Then it settled. And then the following day, it done another 200%, settled. Today, it's done another 100%, and then it settled. Again, I'm not focused on the hypes or the pumps. You know, I've taken my initial out, I've taken my profit out. Do you know what? I'm okay, right? I've got enough money for coffee, right? So that's the most important thing. A lot of people got to understand that just because something's mooning, you don't chase it. It's okay, leave it. But this is an opportunity where the market has reset now. We know what the probability of the market going up is. It's a 90% probability the market's going to go back up. And that's good enough for me, right? Anything more than 51% is good enough for me. So that's what I see right now. Hence why I will be personally deploying what I've got. Now, I know a lot of you guys probably wondering why I've been absent for a little while. I've had a bit of personal issues, a few mistakes I've made in life, and you know, technological mistakes basically. And just briefly, I'll tell you so you guys don't have to ask me again and I don't have to talk about it again. I didn't realize how this entire thing unfolded, right? So I got hacked, right? But I didn't realize how deep it goes until each layer of the entire hack unfolded for me. So at some point in life, I'm not sure where, I managed to click a link. Now, I don't know where the link came from, whether it was my email or whatever. I managed to click a link. But leave that aside. What's happened is all my devices are synced, right? So this person or people have managed to infiltrate my account, and they just sat there. They just literally just sat there waiting. They were monitoring every single keystroke I had, everything I've had, and they've managed to literally wipe out a lot of, well, let's just say all of my Ethereum, right? So they managed to wipe me out completely, but they sat there. And I thought, wallet's hacked or something's hacked. And I couldn't figure it out until I received an email, right? Until I received an email. And, you know, you can see that they're attempting, like, they're like, oh, you know, give us XYZ and we'll give your data back. And I'm thinking, gonna give my data back? You already robbed me. How much more do you want, right? So clearly the scammer's bold enough to first give his ID on where he hacked it. the account he used, and now they're bold enough to email me and say, ask me, demand me for money so I can get my data back. But my data is not important to me, right? What are you going to find? Nothing, right? So I'm not too fussed about the data. But when it comes to my assets, right, you've taken my assets. So that put me through a massive situation where I had to go and actually change my email address on everything, change my phone number and everything, deactivate, disconnect, you name it, everything. So it's been a kind of a tsunami for me, a bloody storm of hell for me, right? Where I didn't realize what was going on. And this has not been going on since now. So these people have been monitoring for a very long time. So clearly they know who I am. They know what I'm about. They know how, they knew exactly where I had it. And they've managed to see my keystrokes, right? Including the facts when I entered my seed phrase for one particular wallet into another wallet. That's when they figured that one out. They literally took the seed phrase and they understood that, hold on, this guy's literally typing in a 12-word seed phrase. So they copied it and then they entered the seed word. By chance, they managed to get into my account. Obviously, if you're going to take every single keystroke, that's what happens. So they've been sitting on me. So I had a massive spyware attack, right? A massive spyware attack. And I cannot explain how big it was and how devastating it was. But I'm just glad that, most of my bank accounts, I usually keep them empty anyway. So they couldn't do anything there, but they had full access to my bank accounts. This is how crazy it is, right? So imagine how serious this is. They had full access to my bank accounts. They had full access to all my data, you name it, anything I've ever typed, they had access to that. And obviously my wallets that I have access from my computer, right? So anything I didn't access from my computer, I know they're bluffing it, right? They don't have access to that. I know that for sure. They've assumed that they got access to my mobile phone. No, they don't, but they did have access to my contacts. So they have access to all my contacts. And they're like, oh, look, we've got a copy of your contacts. That's because the way hacked it. They hacked it. Now, I should have realized. I didn't realize this. So first of all, when I first noticed something was weird was when my Netflix account got hacked. And that's the same email address, right? So I was like, oh, okay, so my Netflix is hacked. Someone's managed to get in. I changed the password. Everything's fine. Then I got kicked out of Netflix again. I'm thinking, what's going on here? So I had no idea what's going on, right? So clearly someone's watching me and I didn't realize that I'm being hacked. My Amazon account got hacked, right? But Amazon had a two-factor authentication. So they couldn't really put two and two together. So they couldn't really hack much of that. I was like, okay. They've accessed my Coinbase account and then they've sent like the OTP thing. I was like, what's going on? Because I got two-factor authentication there too. So that was that, right? So I've gone through a lot of drama and that's just the short list of exactly what's happened. And when you're bombarded with all of this, you're just confused, like, where did I go wrong? So I don't know, but I do understand from the email that I received that at some point somewhere they managed to get into my device, synchronize everything with me, and just sat there. They just sat there waiting for that perfect moment when I enter a seed phrase. And that's what I did. I entered a seed phrase and they weren't even interested in the other data that they got. So they're not, and the worst thing is they're not asking for much for the data that I have, but I'm not going to give them anything. What data you're going to do? Copy my name, send an assassin? What the fuck, right? So don't really give a shit anymore. Honestly, I'm beyond that. So I have made a lot of changes, got rid of the device, changed the device, done so many different things, right? Because you never know what's where. So I kind of rebooted everything. I'm not fully there yet. That's the reason why I need more time. There's a lot of stuff that I'm still going through because I don't have one device. I have multiple devices, and I have multiple accounts, multiple email addresses, and if they've synced it on and manipulated those, I don't know what they're going to do with it. So I'm just being extra careful now. But it's targeted, guys. That's all I'm going to say. This was so targeted. It's unbelievable. I should have realized this because I was having one after the other problems, and I was like, what's going on? And this has not been going on for, I would say, a couple of months. This has probably been going for a long time, right? So somewhere in my past I did something wrong and I'm paying for that mistake, right? So I urge all of you guys to be extra cautious. Don't do what I did, where I've had one email connected to multiple accounts as it was my main account. I shouldn't have done that. So now I've changed it. Now each bank account has a different email. Google's your friend. Believe me, Google's your friend. So go and delete all the other accounts you got, make some fresh accounts. But when you do, try and keep them separate. And yeah, God forbid it happens to anybody that I know, because it's not the right thing, right? So I know I just poured my heart out here. I hope you guys appreciate that, my absence, there's a big reason behind it. I'm just going through a lot of stuff right now, and being completely drained out, financially and motivationally. It's just, there's no motivation to come on, honestly. I know a lot of the guys, there's a bunch of guys on my Discord group or WhatsApp and this and that who personally know me. They've come around and they've offered, they're like, look, Sham, what do you need, bro? Send you $1,000, we send you a grand, whatever, right? So a lot of the guys have come forward to help me out, but it's not so much that, it's not that I need a financial help. What I've had was my savings anyway. It's not like it's affecting me day to day, but it is a saving. It's an amount, right? That's what I used to pay my expenses, XYZ. So obviously I'm having a harder time now. That means I've got to get out, do some work, whatever needs to be doing. Hence why I'm actually actively looking for a job right now. You're probably wondering, well, why would you look for a job if you're running a business? Well, it's not doing that well, put it this way, right? The amount of losses I've had, I'll have to sell it 10 times over to get that money. So it's not going to happen, right? And that funds that I had, funnily, that was my backup to the project that I was going to launch. In fact, I did kind of mention it to a bunch of people, where I was going to launch an exchange and I was going to provide the liquidity side of the exchange with that money. I'll just give you a little something. Once a friend of mine said to me, you need a project to do you $1 million, you need to invest $1 million. That's what I'm going to say to you guys. So that's kind of make sense to you. But that's what it was, right? So yeah, it's a tough one, right? It's a tough one. Anyway, back to square one, back to basics. Reboot, and let's move forward. I am going to go with the exchange. I am going to launch it. Now, whether it takes off or not, that's going to be a whole different story right now, because it's going to be a lot harder for me to launch an exchange without this sufficient liquidity. Yes, I will have liquidity. I will get liquidity from multiple places that I've actually partnered with, and friends and family that I know. But it won't be as much as I had intended originally. Let's just put it that way, right? So a hard one, but need some motivation. So any motivation would be, guys, if you can hit that like, thumbs up, maybe leave a comment below, and just stay safe. That's what I'm going to say. We think crypto is the wild west. No, all the criminals are sitting on the web 2. Believe me, all the criminals are sitting there. The day-to-day internet, that's where they're sitting. They're not sitting in web 3, right? Web 3, yeah, you get, you lose your funds because of silly mistakes, but that wasn't web 3. That was web 2. That was all web 2, right? So I lose my faith in that. Now I'm losing more and more faith in web 2, and I'm more like web 3. At least if I lose it, I know I lost it because of a mistake I made. But sitting there watching me, observing me, right, could be somebody high up, may not be someone thing, but they were watching me. And I'm thinking, how disgusting. You just sat there, you watched me, right? You watched me, you activated my devices, you activated my cameras, everything, right? So I must be somebody important. Why didn't you just come out and tell me if I'm important, right? Make me feel important, right? But yeah, not this way, not this way. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, guys, smash that like button. As I said, that would help me get motivated to come back again, share with a few others, and I hope what you've heard at the end of the video wakes you up a little bit, right? Just wakes you up a little bit. And I hope you can protect yourself, because honestly, you never know what's going on. It's just unbelievable, right? It's emotionally, psychologically, mentally, it just makes you sick. Oh, I feel sick. Like I've actually felt sick, right? That someone's actually activated my smart TV to take pictures of me. I'm like, what the fuck? Seriously, you activated my cameras, dude? Even though I have plenty of protections out there to not activate the cameras. And that just tells you web 2 is not trustable. Web 2 is, and these people are, whoever these people are, they clearly wanted to destroy me, because they took my first project down. They literally took it down, right? And now they took me out completely. I'm thinking, you must have a personal grudge, because if you didn't have a personal grudge, why would you do something like this? Anyway, cut the long story short, don't want to go on about it anymore. Let's be the last of it. We don't want to talk about this. As I said, I am moving forward with the what do you call this, the project that I have. I might rebrand it or whatever. Sometimes, you know what, I just You might ask, why the hell does this guy rebrand? Rebranding helps me kind of forget about the past and leave that segment of my life away, right? So I might actually rebrand and launch something. If I do, I will briefly notify most of the community members via the means that I have, which I hope are not hacked. But other than that, if you are involved, you're involved. If you're interested, you're interested. If not, there's nothing I could do, right? But I've taken precautions now to make sure all of those things do not even touch Web2, right? So I'm proper back old school. Believe me, going proper old school, doing it all from a cold storage now. So this is the only way I can protect myself, and that's what I did. Most of the funds that I have remaining, I've just moved it over to a cold storage and just moving forward like this. So other than that, guys, let me catch you guys on another one very soon. I don't know when. I'm not going to make any promises, guys. I'm not going to make any promises, but I don't know when, right? Also, you guys may notice my videos have ads. Yes, I've activated ads. What's the point, right? You know, I'm not getting the hits now, and to be honest, I need a massive cash injection to get myself back to where I was, right? Worry free, put it this way. But for now, it's just there. If you don't like it, use an ad blocker, or if you're on YouTube Premium, you don't get to see it anyway. But yeah, I mean, most people, I think they use, like, there's an app called Revanced or whatever. So again, the ad shouldn't bother you, but I've just activated it, just left it there. Whatever little comes along, it's not like much. I think one of the last videos gave like 33 pence, so it's not much anyway. But that's not the point. It's not about the money, it's not about anything. I'm just trying to establish something. Also, I'm trying to build a brand as well, like a clothing brand, so that might interest a few people. I am working hard on that one, but it's like you do it once and then you can just forget about it, and then every season just change things around a little bit. So I am working on that. So when I do, I'll announce it to you guys. You might even see me wearing it, right? But until then, let me catch you guys on another one very soon. Keep an eye on the market. As I said, it's going to take a couple of weeks, hence why I'm not 100% yet, but I am 90% confident the bottom's in and we should be moving forward. So see you on another one very soon. Adios, my amigos.